Hi everyone, it's Justine. It's time for a new fashion trends review fall winter edition. You know, I do this twice a year. If you're already subscribed to my channel, you know how this works. I look at lots of fashion shows on all continents. I identify relevant trends and then I present them to you in the form of curated trend boards. And I also add advice on how to make the trends wearable in real life, in practice. This is what we're doing today. Let's go. Our first trend is a British countryside vibe where the big city crowd goes to their cottages for the weekend. Tommy Hilfiger is the preppy version where you wrap a very large cozy scarf around your neck. The next two are full looks with checkered patterns. Here the key is really the fabric, often felted wool or something that feels very soft and warm. And then we have three ways of styling complex patterns. You can do a harmonious color palette where the pattern is just one accent, not dominant. That's Anna Sui. You can pair patterns that are decidedly different in color and in size, like at Paco Rabanne, and here the key piece will be a cardigan with those big side pockets. Or, third option, you combine different patterns from the same color palette. That's the second look from Anna Sui's runway. This one gives a Queen Elizabeth at Balmoral Castle feeling, if you see what I mean, probably because of the retro scarf that's tied under her chin. Note that nothing on this board is tight or fitted. It's all boxy shapes and comfortable fabrics. And interestingly, most brands I've seen adopting these trends are not British. They're from other countries or even continents. So this is really a global trend, not just a local one. Last season, we had a trend that mixed the code of femininity plus menswear. This season, it's evolving onto full-on menswear. It's really about wearing and appropriating the codes of menswear. At Saint Laurent, the suit does the job. It's sleek, simple, impeccably tailored. At Schiaparelli, the tailoring is heavily 80s menswear inspired, even the color, but with a twinkle in the eye element, which is that the tie is made of braided hair. Tod's uses the typical light blue shirt from menswear with the cuffs, with a stiff collar. They add a second color underneath, which is surprising, but makes it even clearer. And then a statement belt, which is a little bit more feminine for good measure. At McQueen, we're seeing a typical pinstripe suit, but the waist and the ankles are tied and therefore highlighted. Thom Brownie followed a formal black tie dress code, but the bottom is a skirt instead of pants. To me, these women are saying, I can dress like a man and look powerful in it if I want, but I also can add massive earrings, statement belts, or heels on top of that. And since this trend was everywhere on the runways, everywhere, here is the second board to take it further. Stella McCartney showed kind of a duster coat with buckles and metal eyelets, but in a much more luxurious material and with matching accessories as well. At Max Mara, it's a double-breasted coat with large lapels, completely boxy. This could definitely be a man's coat, but everything else in the outfit is black, minimal, on point, sleek hair too. The next look, by Tod's, reminds me of Hunger Games. Maybe because of the color palette, which is very industrial, science fiction-like, black, concrete gray, petrol blue. Maybe it's also the boots. That woman looks very powerful and dominant, in a good way, I think. And then, if one sees menswear as a sort of protection of protective armor, here are two quite literal armors, Acne Studio and McQueen. It's stiff, it's almost molded, and it can be combined with combat boots on top of that. Do not mess up with these ladies. To summarize this trend, you take the codes of menswear, boxy shapes, large shoulders, buckles, metal, big lapels, heavy stuff, and you choose how you accessorize the look. Huge earrings, a statement belt, matching accessories, things that alpha men rarely know how to rock. Moving on to the next one, which I really like personally. Drapy outerwear feels like the dream. We'll get to wrap ourselves in huge cozy capes and coats. At Ferragamo, the top is asymmetric and echoes the asymmetry of the bottom. At Carven, it's very drapey and wide, paired with more tailored trousers in this case. Chloe gives two options. Zero cleavage but showing the legs, like at Ferragamo by the way, or a more covered version, probably more realistic for winter. Here the coat is wrapping around the neck. This could be a Burberry coat too actually. Alberta Ferretti went for the wrap route as well, and here too the scarf part matches the coat itself. Matching coat plus scarf will immediately tell people, oh, this woman knows how to curate her outfits. It's very elegant. Speaking of matchy, you could also match the entire look. Top, bottom, over top, and shoes. The keywords here are comfort, a hint of asymmetry, and mostly muted colors, even though Bottega Veneta is an exception here, but it's mostly muted colors. I feel like one piece of drapey outerwear is something that's easy to add to an existing wardrobe. Do you agree? The next one is a very tactile trend. It's leather or materials that look like leather that you'll want to touch and to pet, basically. Textured and high gloss, like a Tory Burch and Chloe. Smooth and color blocking. That's another Tory Burch option. I like that this blue is not a typical winter color. The skirt is contrasting in color and in material with the rest of the outfit. It looks very sharp. At Ferragamo and Gabriela Hearst, the leather is super soft, smooth, great tanning, or it looks like it. And that Isabelle Marant outfit might be my favorite one on this board. The drape of the dress is fabulous. It looks like liquid leather, and the outfit is also very well accessorized. That's something Isabelle Marant always knows how to pull off. For this trend, most of the time we're considering shiny, smooth qualities of leather in rather muted, earthy colors. There are some exceptions, but mostly muted and earthy. If you don't like wearing a full look, a handbag or shoes are maybe something to think about. There is one accessory taking the spotlight in this season, and it's a belt. You've seen many on the boards already. It comes in all different shapes and forms. The Chloe belt is very branded, sure, but I like the idea of a molded metal shape on the front. It doesn't have to be a brand name. At Loewe, the belt buckle is highlighting a design detail of the outfit. In this case, that tiny waist, optically created by the gathered drape of the garment. Special mention for the haircut. This entire outfit is a runway winner for me, and it makes for a wonderful photo. At Roxanda, the belt is like a rope, casually tied around the waist, but tone on tone. So it's definitely not a rope she just happened to have at hand. Again, accessories matching the garments are elevating many outfits I saw on the runways this season. At Dior, the belt is tone on tone too, but with a metal element placed sideways on one side, very chic. Saint Laurent and that second Roxanda look are going for contrast. At Saint Laurent, it looks like the belt you could wear with an office suit, but it's paired with not office-like fabrics. And at Roxanda, it's again like a rope she just happened to have there, but not really, because it's the perfect accent color to accessorize that outfit. Again, not a coincidence, that's perfect curation. So many options for belts, right? Which one is your favorite? A little note, those of you who are on my email list will receive these trend boards plus my trend notes by email. I do that for every trend video I do. If you're not on my email list yet, you can go to justineleconte.com/newsletter and join now, and you'll get the notes as well. Now, I'd love to know, which trend did you prefer this season? Which trend do you feel like trying? Because I have a bet this time. Let's see if I'm right. And thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. If I'm not mistaken, my next video will be about the key items for the fall-winter season for your wardrobe. Coming soon. Subscribe to this channel so that you get it once it's released. And I'll see you very soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye.